So I don't mind that he's gone Dark Harvest at all, but yeah, I definitely see your point that in general it's probably better to go Fleet Footwork in a game where you are wanting to be running away from the Gwen, the Viego, the
Yeah.
hooks of Mama as well.
Are we going to see any level 1 shenanigans, do you think, Mr. Judge? Definitely does not look like it.
I don't think either team wants to be looking for level ones. Realistically, if there is a team that potentially is the better level one, you would have to say Invul just because of the Nautilus.
Hmm.
The ability to have two CCs,
Yeah.
two hard cow controls at level 1, can make and break an invade, but it doesn't look like either team. Well,
Yonsony
potentially in
and
the top
Falio.
lane.
Oh, Falio sneaking in. Forsaken doesn't know that he's here. He is going to get snipped once, and the ward going down on the red buff.
I mean, it is the bear of 1,000 cuts, so I don't think he cares too much about another single snip.
Only up to 1,001. It's not too much.
It's even the skin as well, I think.
Yeah, 1,000 pierced bear.
Ah, that's the one, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you got all the spears and stuff in his back.
Yes. Pretty gnarly skin there. And so both junglers are going to start on their respective blue buffs.
A bit different to what we saw in game 1. Invul will, however, know roughly where Forsaken is when they don't see him on the Raptor camp in a couple of seconds. They will be able to get a bit more understanding. And looking for some cheese in the bot lane with Mama and Hellman. This Nautilus, they're going to hook on to Henrik straight away. The plasma pops, and that's so much damage. Good trade back, though, with the Mantra in a flame.
Yeah, I think that's relatively well done by Vctory to try and make
And
the best of
Dozen
that.
actually able to trade onto Falio early in this lane. Falio popping the Ghost, though. Has the dash, not the snips. Is Falio going to be able to find anything? No, it looks like Dozen going to be able to flash away and get himself to safety. Although Ghost on a much lower cooldown than the Flash.
Yeah. And does get level 2 before the Gwen, though. Before Falio.
Yeah, did
anything gonna
initiate
happen
that
with it?
trade, so will have gained the XP
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
And the set regen will keep Dozen nicely topped up.
Henrik is still level 1, will probably tick over to level 2 now, yeah. Both bot lanes on even level 2s.
Yep, Falio now able to snip away at the set's HP bar, but again, given set's regen, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Both junglers, relatively low action on their first clears, as they would probably both quite like it. I don't think either of these junglers are going to be particularly unhappy with this lack of action. And now we're getting towards the Scuttle Crabs. Maybe we start to see the fireworks. Forsaken looking on to Loftition, and Dozen roaming down as well. Loftition has the help picks movement speed, the Glitter Lance for the slows as well. Has to pop the flash, and now Yonsony is going to get himself involved. Falio is popping the teleport, and the stun from the Spectral Maw comes down, but it's Forsaken who finds first blood on to the Lulu. Double buffs, however, going over to Falio as Yonsony can become the Volley Bear, and this is looking really bad for Vctory. Dozen going to get snipped down, and Volley Bear going to sink his teeth in. Mama falls, though, to Henrik. Yonsony flashing forward with the Facebreaker, going to find one, and now Hellman going to get donated a kill on to Henrik. You would imagine, no. Flash away from the Karma, flash forward from Hellman. The Void Seeker will find a kill, and it's 4 for 2 in the early team fight for Invul.
Yeah, what looked to be a dangerous situation for Loftition. And I mean, what a fight that was for everyone. But the thing is, though, Viego gets 1 kill, even without Heartbreaker, even without that ultimate reset. He's just able to heal up
2-0-2 on that Viego right now.
Yeah, and that is...
double buffs on Falio.
Wow, I hadn't even noticed that. That is really, really dangerous for Dozen Fett.
We'll have that Ghost coming back up in a very short while as well. So after a reset, Dozen going to have to be very careful in that top lane.
Yeah. We will see how this top lane goes. A huge wave, I said, being broken up there.
Forsaken, though, looking around towards this top side, could look to capitalize on Falio having not got his recall off yet. Is going to likely have to go in on his own. is going to walk in, not going to be able to find the Gwen. Valeo should just be able to walk himself out to safety. Going to get his recall stopped by the Sky Splitter, but Forsaken not going to be able to find any kills. Looking to invade Yonseni's blue buff, actually, but there's no top jungle alive for the Viego.
The Invul bot lane managed to get a nice back off at this point. Only losing just a small wave there.
Mama, yeah, waiting in the wings around this mid lane. Targo steps up. He could be in trouble. Command Protect offering a lot of shielding, but still the Nautilus and the Lulu could cause some issues. But no, he's just going to help Loftition get this wave shoved in. Buy him some space for a recall. Loftition picking up an early dagger, actually.
Interesting. A potential for like a Wit's End?
Are we going to see Machine Gun Lulu? That would make me happy.
I
Ghost popped by Falio, dodging out on the Haymaker. Dozen Fet just going to get solo bolo. We've seen this so many times from Falio. When he's on it, when he's on his day, when he's on a champion that he feels comfortable with, he will just repeatedly run you down. Has that Leeching Leer picked up. Feels so comfortable taking those fights.
Infernal Dragon secured as well for Invul. Looks to be both junglers meeting towards the Gromp.
Yeah, Yonseni able to invade very aggressively, has his bot lane priority.
More importantly, is 2 levels above Forsaken at the moment. Has access to his ultimate at 6 minutes.
Yeah, Ruination shall come. I know the event's not going to be live. I don't know when the event's going to go live. Shockwave going to go completely wide in the mid lane. Targo. That one's unfortunate, my friend. Mama may be caught out, but is going to be able to walk himself around to safety. Big cooldown burned in the mid lane, though, with that Shockwave.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. I could see why he was potentially going for it, but against the Lulu has a lot of movement speed.
And now Loftition just gets to poke away at the Orianna. Summon Airy, just a little bit of extra damage, whittling onto Targo's HP.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned this before the game started, but Invul will definitely be so happy with this. An early lead in every single lane, essentially.
Nearly 2,000 gold pre 8 minutes.
Yeah. And this is a team that wants to snowball. Yeah. Every single champion is a snowball champion.
But Invul seem to be a team that, when they have the momentum within a game, just seem to be able to take over the game in a matter of moments.
Yeah.
Valio could be under some threat here, but Yonseni is also on this top side, 2 levels ahead of the Volibear. Dozen and Forsaken going to look onto Falio. They need a work is thrown down, but it's the showstopper that's going to stop Falio's rampage. Yonseni joining the fight now, but he is 2 versus 1, and I don't know if the Viego quite has enough to take this. Heartbreaker comes through. Not quite going to find the kill onto Dozen Fet, and just about gets shut down by Forsaken's Volibear.
Yeah, really well played by Vctory there. Their cooldowns were used.
Ooh, Hellman and Mama in the area, though. Might look for a dive onto Dozen and Forsaken if they do decide to stick around. The Stormbringer is up. Loftition moving in towards the bot lane to clear this wave away from Gaxel. And it's just actually going to be plates in the top side. Dozen and Forsaken having to stay, not being able to get their resets off. Flash forward onto Mama from the Volibear, but it's not going to come to anything, and Forsaken going to fall. Dozen can't get close enough to finish Mama off, and now Hellman with the Void Rush diving himself forward. Not going to be able to find the kill yet, though. Dozen Fet, he's trapped under his turret. Is there a way out? The Void Rush Icer going to pick up the kill. Hellman with his second. Shockwave is flashed away from him. The depth charge is just going to be disengaged. Henrik flashing forward with the Mantra in a flame. Ignite going to go down as well. And Hellman falls to Targo. This game getting very, very messy, very, very scrappy all of a sudden.
While all of this has been happening, though, Yonseni respawned and is now looking onto Rift Herald.
Can we just have a quick look at the CS difference in the jungle?
Wow, I hadn't even realised that. Forsaken only just ticked over to level 6 on his last camp as well.
That was off the back of the top lane play, I believe.
Yes, yeah. And meanwhile, and that's 30 CS difference at this point in time is that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it looks like to be the Divine Sunderer build for Viego as well.
Yep, the incredibly tanky, team fight oriented build for the Viego.
Yeah.
We saw Falio do it against Darkseid. We're going to see Yonsony do it here against Vctory.
Oof. And the CS leads are starting to really hurt in the top and jungle for Invul. 64 to 47, 72 to 44.
Yeah, it's a little bit insane for Diego. But Yonsony got those early kills in that bot lane river fight, and he has not looked back since. Everywhere else on the map is doing their jobs, and he is reaping the benefits.
Yeah. So it is 35 seconds until the next dragon spawns. Loftition looked to be in a little bit of trouble, but it is a Lulu. It's so difficult to catch.
So much movement speed, so much slow. You can't chase a Lulu. Oh, Henrik now going to get dove on by Mama. Teleport is burned by Dozenfet. Henrik not going to get blown up. Forsaken now joining the fight as well. Teleports coming through from both Invul solo landers, and Johnson is in the area. Showstopper going to come down, taking Mama away to his death, but Falio going to answer back. The needlework is across multiple people. It's going to be 2 for Invul, potentially the turret as well. They do have the Rift Herald available for Yonsony.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be the Dragon instead.
I much prefer them going for Dragon rather than trying to force...
Curtain's going to be called on this one, though. Can Gaxel find anything here? It doesn't really look like he's going to be afforded the opportunity. 4th shot comes through, but it's no meaningful damage really anywhere.
Yeah. And as we just kind of take a breather after all of that, what was, 11 minutes, everyone down in the bot lane. After all of that, Invul definitely come up the winners there.
2,000 gold, Rift Herald, and 2 dragons. You're not going to turn your nose up at that one if you are Invul.
No. And so now, obviously, Viego does have the Rift Herald still. I want it to be cooled down relatively soon.
This is the thing. Again, you're kind of okay whichever lane you put the Rift Herald in, because if you can get the Lulu ahead so she can keep everyone alive, it's great. If you get the Gwen further ahead, excellent. If you can snowball the Kai'Sa, even better. There's not really a bad lane to drop this Rift Herald in.
I just want to make sure the Rift Herald is dropped before 14 minutes, before the plates.
I believe it expires before 14 minutes, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. And so it looks to be that Johnson is putting a lot of pressure down in the bot lane.
Going to continue to counter jungle. Hellman going to get dove on by Henrik and Gaxel, but he wants this 2 versus 1, and Hellman just going to find Henrik, burning down to the Ignite, but is going to keep himself alive with the Void Rush, dashing forward, and Gaxel drops to Mama. Hellman says, I will raise you your 2 versus 1, and I will take you both down with me. Not even falling himself, actually. Very impressive from the Invul AD carry. 2 plates picked up in this bot lane. And the gold lead exploding now to 4,000 in Invul's favor.
There's still plates to be had, I think, potentially. Still 40 seconds before any go down. So this could go even further for Invul. Loftition looking onto Dozenfet. Just putting a bit more pressure as Falio.
Going to enable Falio to secure some of those plates you were just talking about. Dozenfet, no. Diving onto Loftition, has Henrik here in support. Loftition going to pop the Wild Growth and the Polymorph. Getting himself to safety as the Gwen going to dive forward with this needlework. Dozenfet taking so much damage. The Haymaker not going to find its mark. And Falio and Loftition may have bitten off too much that they can chew here. Loftition going to fall to Targo. Falio should just be able to dash over the wall and get himself away. But a little bit of an overforce there from Invul.
Yeah, definitely not exactly how they wanted that to go. But at the same time, they still did manage to get another plate at the very least. I think it was only 1 plate they got.
Yeah.
Currently, Hellman is level 10 to Gaxel's 8. The lead there is really starting to show.
I mean, it's leads across the map, really. It's just small leads everywhere that just combines together that just looks incredibly rough for the side of Vctory.
Yeah.
Cresting the 15-minute mark, though. Gold lead holding strong at 4,000. About to extend a bit further as first turret is going to fall. 4.5k now, the gold lead. Meanwhile, Jonsson just clearing his jungle. Hellman getting all of the farm that he wants. 132 CS, again the highest in the game so far.
And look at the CS difference in the top lane though. We were talking about jungle, but now 109 to 66 in the top lane. Falio absolutely bullying Dosen.
Yeah, Falio has been having his way with Dosenfet in this top lane match. In both games, really, this series.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the power of Falio on his Gwen. And Falio is fantastic with a lot of champions, but allowing him to have the Porcelain Doll, I just, it's a little bit scary, I think, to allow him on that champion at all.
Yeah, just a smidge. If the games back at the start of the season weren't enough of an advert for that, I think this game definitely is.
Yeah.
Oh, and I liked this from Falio as well, denying all of that CS from Dosenfet. Making sure it all dies to the tower, so Dosen can't get the gold, can't get the XP, but ensuring at the same time that the turret will still drop. I really like this. This is ruthless.
Yeah, and while all this is happening, Rift Herald was taken by Jonsson. That turret, top lane outer turret, is also falling. And now, 8 seconds until the next dragon spawns. Rift Herald, I think, will probably be used mid potentially.
You would imagine so, yeah.
On that mid lane.
And Dosenfet gonna pull in Falio, but you don't want this trade, Dosen. The needlework's gonna come through, and it might just be another solo boulder. The showstopper is gonna come down, but snip, snip, snip. Goodbye, set. Forsaken gonna drop in the mid lane as well. Hellman falls to Gaxel, and Targo on the teleport should be able to pick up Mama as well. But meanwhile, Jonsson is just gonna take the dragon away.
3 dragons, less than 17 minutes. Again, and that is 5 objectives that is collected without really being contested at all.
Yeah.
I think this game, I think he's hasn't had to worry about anyone from Vctory on these.
Falio nearly falling to Targo, but just about able to get himself to safety.
Yeah. And again, bit of a breather as everyone resets after those fights, getting their gold. It is, well, how long until Baron? Just over 2 minutes at this point. You kind of think surely that Baron could potentially make or break this game already.
Yeah. I think if this Baron goes over to the side of Invul, if it is an early Baron, it could well be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah. And this outer turret is in a very awkward position for Vctory.
Very
I
precarious.
think they're going to be able to salvage it. They will. But meanwhile, Viego, Jonsson has Rift Herald on the side lane.
And that should be a dead in a turret.
Best. Yeah. And that is very, very dead.
That's 600 extra gold in the back pockets of the Viego, something that you really don't want to be seeing if you are a Vctory fan at this point.
No. And Viego is one of those champions, a bit like Master Yi. If he gets ahead, it is so difficult to shut him down.
Forsaken and Gaxel trying to look for something in the mid lane, but just not quite having the avenue to be able to start off a fight. Oh, Forsaken diving forward. No, not going to be able to catch on to anyone with that Rolling Thunder. Oh my god, the Gwen damage.
Yeah, that's a little sickening, to be fair.
Doesn't matter that the Haymaker hits, though. He has a Riftmaker.
Yeah. But this turret has lasted quite a while, actually, for Vctory. They are defending it tooth and nail currently.
It's a 70 CS lead in the top lane. 3 levels and 70 CS.
It's a little bit brutal. This is like a gladiator playing with the lion. So I think it's almost, you almost don't want to watch that top lane anymore.
No. Oh, looking in the mid lane though, Forsaken going to find the stun onto Mama. The depth charge going to come through, but Mama should not be too long for this world. Dosenfet catching Hellman. with the Facebreaker as well, and Mama is going to drop to the Volibear. One last chomp finishes that off. But now that all of Invul are here, that's 1, that's 2, it's going to be 3. Dozenfet falling as well. Gaxel, the only man able to walk himself away from that fight. And that could even be Baron here for Invul. Yonseni is alive. Mama the only casualty. And it is. They're going to start this one straight up. Loftizian going to be able to buff them through it. And I don't think Vctory have an answer for this.
No, I think it's going to be...
Curtain Call could potentially find something. But no, Helman, Falio, and Yonseni all going to block it off. Falio diving over the wall now. Going to look for Targo with the... You must construct additional pylons field enabled. But no, it's not enough. The pylons have been built. And Vctory able to shut Falio down. Baron buff and 8,000 gold. Vctory, yeah. What are you going to do from this position?
I want to be positive. I do want to be positive, but it's so very difficult for a team fighting comp that is currently losing team fights.
Yeah. A team fight comp when you're 8,000 gold behind does not feel like any fun to execute.
Yeah, when it's this game as well. Invul are doing what I thought they should have been doing a little bit more in the previous game,
right?
Which is just simply not going as 5 for as long as possible. You know, they are splitting. They're going 1-3-1. The Viego is in the bot lane at some points. It's so difficult for Vctory to know exactly where people are going to be going and rotating around. So even when they are able to get a good engage.
Oh, Falio could be caught out here. The shockwave is going to be dodged away from with that immunity field. And Falio is able to get so much healing from this Riftmaker. Not going to be able to find any kills, but chunking out a few of the members of Vctory. Dragon is alive. It is soul point here for Invul, but it is going to be the engage. Mama going to look onto Dozenfet. Yonseni and Loftizian in the fight. Helman flanking around the side as well. The Void Rush going to carry him into the backline. Mama drops to Dozen, but here comes the Heartbreaker. Yonseni gets a reset. Helman finds one. Helman going to find a second, potentially onto Henrik and Targo, but no. Yonseni able to get his second, his reset. He is now Volibear, and he's going to be able to claim this Cloud Soul for his team.
Almost exactly at the same time as the first game as well. I think about 5 seconds later than the first game, they will get Dragon Soul.
Yeah, this has been ruthless, objective-focused, early game gameplay coming through from Invul in both of these games.
Yeah.
And Helman, he's going to take the fight. Henrik!
Jesus.
Oh my word, that damage.
A bit too far, though, I think, at this point.
Yeah, Helman going to get himself shut down, as is Loftizian. But the amount of damage coming out of that Kai'Sa is just ridiculous.
Falio taking the top lane in.
But that's actually a worthwhile trade right now if you are on the side of Vctory, because the amount of gold you get off that Kai'Sa from the shutdown.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Now, 19 kills to 15. I will have to say, Vctory have been very good at taking the scalps. You know, they've been able to take quite a few. You know, 3 for what, like 2.
Oh, they've been good. They've been really good with capitalizing on the mistakes that Invul have made to get themselves kills.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate they haven't been able to really take objectives as a result of those kills.
Yeah. But I do want to stress that, you know, Vctory have done very well in a very difficult circumstances, I think. You know,
Falio is looking for the 2v1. The Needlework is popped, but he's not going to go any deeper. It doesn't want to dive into 3.
Yeah. How aggressive is he playing? Oh my god,
the damage just from the last 2 activations of the Needlework. Nearly half of Henrik's health bar.
But Vctory are so scared of the Gwen that they can't even potentially 4-on-1.
But if you look at the vision, they don't know who else is in the area. They don't know who else could be waiting in the wings, where the awards are for potential Invul teleports.
And you look at bot lane. The bot lane is now pushing all the way up. Mid lane, that's going to crash into this turret, just has.
And Baron is coming up in just over a minute and a half. Second Baron of the game would be.
And Invul are very much in the driver's seat. All 3 lanes are
Oh,
pushing.
but we are going to see an engage.
exactly where you want.
Forsaken diving forward onto Mama. Going to be able to start up the Nautilus, but Johnson on the backline finds Targo. The depth charge knocks up all of Victory, and now the Viego gets his resets. He finds 1, finds 2. Showstopper under the turret before the 3rd kill does fall, and now it's 4. Kai'Sa taking over. Viego whittles them down, and Kai'Sa knocks them off. Absolute monstrous performance this game from Hellman so far.
Yeah. We said that, he may, Invul were looking for a bit of redemption, not wanting to give another game at all. And they've proven it this game. They were angry. They were ready.
This game, too, is definitely a statement. Game 1, I think a lot closer than people would have expected. But this game, too, has been an absolute statement. Over 10,000 gold now the lead. The Nexus under fire. Victory, well, unfortunately you won't be finding any of those today, but good luck with the rest of the season, my friends. 2-0 goes for Invul. 3 more points picked up, and it's going to keep Invulnerables Esports at the top of the standings after week 5.
Yeah, fantastically well played, particularly in that second game. As you said, it's just a schooling in objective timers, exactly when and where to push, and just not giving Victory any chance to breathe in that game. There was no let up in pressure anywhere on the map.
No, not at all. I am also just wondering, are we going to get an interview? Are we going to be able to get an interview with any of the guys from lineup? If any of you guys want to come for an listening. I know we have Lofty and Ege in the Twitch chat. I don't know if anyone else wants to come. Obviously, we have already heard from the man in the mid lane and the coach behind it all as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you want to fill the time with some discussion.
So, I think where Victory Esports looked strong was their team fighting potential. They, particularly in game 1, there was quite a few times where those team fights actually swung the game around. At one point, I think they were 5k gold deficit, and swung that back up to about 1k up, which is incredible by them. But the problem was, in the second game, they didn't have the same comp. They weren't able to draft quite the same. So they still had the same core, the Volibear Orianna, which was still really, really useful in those team fights. But unlike in game 1, where you had the engage of the Gnar, particularly, you instead had the engage of a set backed by Karma. It's still a very good engage, but it doesn't have quite the same impact, quite the same overall team fighting ability.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same potency at all.
And so, and followed that as well with a Braum, who absolutely can decimate a team's ability to move with the Glacial Fissure, then the Winter's Bite, Concussive Blows. There just wasn't enough lockdown, I think, for a team fighting comp in the second game.
Okay.
And I think that's particularly why it seemed like a much more pedestrian game for Invul in the second game. They were just able to play around those team fights so much easier.
We are going to be able to get ourselves an interview. We're speaking to Invul support Mama this evening, following the team's 2-0. So I'm going to start off that call, Joe. It might drop a second.
Yeah, no worries.
We'll get that going.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Mama.
Hello, hello.
Congratulations on the 2-0 victory, firstly. How was everything with the team going into the series tonight?
Yeah, thank you. So in this week we didn't have much practice, I would say. And in the games we were kinda free-minded, I felt like we weren't taking it too seriously. I mean, we were trying hard to win, but yes, some calls were kinda disrespectful towards the enemy. Like we were kinda limit testing the game. As you could see in first game, it went pretty bad in some situations. But we had luck and we managed to come back.
Yeah, I think in the second game, particularly, you guys were so far ahead that you were playing potentially a little bit on the edge at points, diving in the top lane and going quite so aggressive towards the Nexus, turrets right at the end. But like you said, you were limit testing at that point, I think, particularly in the second game where uh, it was so one-sided by that point. Um,
Yes.
in the first game, there is a particular question I want to ask. What was Aphelios the planned ADC for that comp?
Yeah, actually it was a plan, but it wasn't the best pick because he got so much outrange, Oriana and Azir were pretty big and he couldn't do anything in the game.
Hmm.
So maybe the plan wasn't the best.
I mean, it still worked out overall, but yeah, potentially with a different ADC, a bit more range, would have been able to utilize, been able to be utilized a little bit more in that early game. Enix, do you have any particular questions?
Just really, obviously, you mentioned we didn't feel like we had as much practice going into this game, even with being like, and then you mentioned feeling like you played a bit more free in the games. Do you think that is better for you guys as a team to have that little bit extra, like being able to play free, being able to play a little bit more loose, or do you think that negatively impacts things?
I mean, it's both,
Hmm.
Like sometimes we can just snowball much more, but sometimes we just throw the game, like in the first game, and it's not good. It's
Yeah.
just like it's mentally hard,
Yeah, no, of
when you see,
course.
oh my god, this game is so easy, and suddenly the game is
Yeah, suddenly the
just
game then becomes incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I just have to scream on fellow to like, man, calm down, it's free, you don't need to do anything.
Hmm.
And
So
he's
is
like, no, I can kill them all if they come, just let them come.
so things we learned about Falio. He wants to go in, like just constantly. He wants to always go in. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. He's not scared to fight.
Hmm.
I think he's Spartan or something.
Yeah. And he proved that he's a bit of a monster on Gwen. And I mean, it's so ridiculously scary. Even 3v1 at one point, he was winning.
And
So
it
you can kind of
seems to
understand
be
a lot
whatever
of the
champion he
ego.
picks up, it
Yeah,
True.
seems to be able to work out top lane.
Gwen is just amazing champ. Maybe even too much amazing,
Yeah.
It should be nerfed a
Potentially,
little.
potentially. But yeah, I think overall you have to say, especially in the second game, it was fairly comfortable for you guys. Like I said, you weren't maybe particularly at your best. You hadn't maybe trained as much. Are you focusing on another fixture that's coming up? Are you feeling that there's who else is in your sightlines that's going to be a bit more difficult potentially? Another team that's coming up.
Yeah, actually, I didn't check the schedule,
Hmm.
so I don't know. But yeah, I think we were talking about like this week was hard to like schedule the practice, but next week we will play much more, so we should have much more cleaner games.
Always
Always
good to
good to
hear.
hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
always good to hear. I'm just having a quick look at Twitch chat in case we have any questions from anyone in there. I'll give people in Twitch chat a couple of seconds. Send any questions they may have our way before we let you go this evening, Valio. Okay, got got a question from Lofty. Are you wearing a shirt right now?
Oh my god!
Oh.
Yeah, right now I got a t-shirt.
Um, and then I
And
don't
then
think we really have any other questions. Although actually, I'm seeing one from Ege. Um, are you considering yourself as one of the better supports in the league?
Like, of course, you need to have the confidence.
Hmm.
You need to like trust yourself and trust in your place. So yeah, I believe I am one of the better supports in the league.
And one final question before we let you go.
I like this.
One final question before we let you go. How does it feel knowing that Lofty gets to play enchanters instead of you?
Yeah, it sucks honestly because like Lulu is so OP. You can just feel it when you play Lulu that you have so much impact. Like enemy cannot do anything when you play Lulu, honestly. And yeah, Lofty just steals my job, you know.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
you've proved that you don't have to play enchanters to still be incredibly useful yourself. Yeah.
But
Do you have any last questions, Enix?
no, I think on that note, we will let you get back to the team, Mama, for any post-game discussions. Thank you very much for coming and taking the time to talk to us. And congratulations again on the win.
Yeah, thanks for having me there.
No
And I
worries.
guess I see you later, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheerio.
Next games. So yeah, bye bye.